Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stretch the Sketch combined with Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches. And this month we are using this awesome sketch. It's the same sketch that was put out for 30 Days of Sketches, and it's by Page Maps. And I decided to stretch it into a double page layout. So I'm using some old basic gray paper, and I am just playing around with my photos and trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to get them on this layout. And that took me quite a bit of time. I left some of that in the video just so you guys can see the different options that I had. And, you know, sometimes it's kind of like a puzzle, moving things around, and it doesn't always come easily as to which way you're going to put them. And I didn't like this arrangement because it really looked kind of like narrow on one end and wide on the other. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to put them in there, given that I have photos in both orientations. So I kind of like to keep my grid looking straight. So in this case, I decided to keep everything that was portrait on one side and landscape on the other. And that's not always how I do it, but in this case, that's kind of what I decided to go with. And then I have pulled in a little bit more basic gray paper, and I'm just flipping it over to use the back side, which is a grid. I don't even remember what is on the other side, actually. And I'm just cutting it down to size, and I'm using this green paper that is also from the same collection, and I apologize, I don't know what collection this is from. And I don't have it in front of me to look it up. If it's something that's of interest to you, just drop me a note down below and I will look it up for you. But keep in mind, Basic Gray is out of business, so it's not something that you can probably easily find. So I started out by inking everything in, I think I inked it in black, and then I thought it was a little bit too dark, so I went back and inked it in brown. Or maybe it was vice versa, but I ended up putting both ink colors on each paper just because I wanted the darkness of the black, but I wanted the hint of brown in there. And then I took this punch, which is my favorite scallop punch from X-Cut, and it's a large scallop, which is kind of hard to find, but it is from X-Cut, so if that's something you're interested in, I don't know if they still make it or not, but it is my favorite. So I decided to punch some black, just like the sketch has across the top third of the layout. So I'm kind of doing the exact same thing as the sketch. The biggest difference there is that I have a lot more photos. So they just had 4 photos on the layout, which is quite a few for a single page layout. But I decided I needed room for, I don't know, I think I have 11. And so I am very happy with the way that this came out. Actually, I think that grid paper is from Authentique. So if I remember correctly, the other 2 papers are definitely from Basic Gray. And then I decided just to use some liquid glue to hold down the little black border strip there, rather than trying to run my ATG gun across it and having lots of little adhesive boogers sticking out, if you will. So, and then here I'm just inking up my edges, making sure everything has a good coat of both the black and the brown, because, you know, I can't do it simple. And then I did pull out these black foam alphas, and these are from Simple Stories. So they're not the thicker brand, they are the Simple Stories brand. And my title is just going to be Hidden Villa. That is the location that we are at. It's a big like park and farm. It's actually more of a farm than a park, but they have all kinds of animals, and they have this big garden area that they grow all kinds of things, and so you can go and visit them during the school year. The summertime, they usually have summer camps going on, so they're not really open for just visitation during the week at least, but during the school year you can go and visit just during the day. And so we've taken Noah up there a few times, and it's been a lot of fun just seeing all the animals. So then I pulled out my punches, my circle punch and my scallop circle, and I believe that's a 3 and a 3.5 inch punch. I could be No, I'm pretty sure that is the 3 and the 3.5 inch. And yes, they are huge, and yes, I know I could use dies, but sometimes for me it's just easier to grab the punch than to pull out the die and the die machine. And so that is why I still keep my punches, and I really enjoy using them because it's quick and it's a little bit less work. I know they're big and bulky, but I've got the space for them, and like I said, it's easier to pull one punch out than the die binder and the Big Shot or whatever die cutting machine you happen to be using. Lately I have been using a Tonic Tangerine, and it's a big, huge machine. It's like 21 pounds, so it's not something I want to pull out all the time, and so having the dies handy is very helpful. Okay, so I've got my alphas all lined up there with my centering ruler, and then the second word is actually on the thicker alignment guide. And so I prefer the centering ruler over anything, but that's because I can use it for multiple things rather than just aligning. But the alignment guide works fine, or any clear acrylic ruler would work for that. Then I went through my box of green embellishments, and that includes die cut pieces or ephemera pieces and stickers. This little wavy line is a basic gray sticker, and so I am going to tuck that in underneath the word Villa, and I really like that it has a little bit of motion and movement to it, and so I wanted to go ahead and make sure I used that piece. And then I have a couple other pieces that are from either Basic Gray or Authentique. Actually, I think some of those pieces are from Authentique, but there are a couple that are from Basic Gray, but we'll see what I end up using. And so I just pulled out things that would work well with the color scheme, which is pretty much green and black and cream and brown, and so that opened up quite a bit of choices in the greens, because there's so many different greens in that background, so I could pretty much use almost any green. So I am kind of just tucking those things in. This is actually almost a monochromatic layout, but it's not exactly monochromatic just because there are some other colors involved, but almost monochromatic. But the addition of that brown, I think, takes it away from the monochromatic. So I have these, what are those things called? Tickets. This ticket strip that is from a paper pad by GCD, and so I just have all of the tickets cut out of it and put it into my color bins so that I can easily get to them by color. And so this one just happens to have the green, and I used that hole punch there to kind of hole punch the indentation between the two tickets, and that works really well for that. If you're interested in or need to know how to cut that out, it's kind of a pain to cut with your scissors to get that little U shape between the two tickets, but the hole punch works wonderfully. So I'm just kind of playing around with where I want things and tucking things in and making sure I ink them up. And while I do that, I will remind you that there is a list of people playing along with Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches down below, so go and check them out. There are people playing along throughout the entire month, so there's tons of inspiration. There is also a list of people playing along with Stretch the Sketch, and so you will have layouts in sizes other than 12 by 12. That's the whole idea of Stretch the Sketch, is to create a layout in a size other than the sketch size, which is typically 12 by 12. So in this case, I have stretched it to a double page. You might find some of our participants have shrunk it down, and other people may have gone as small as a card. We've had that happen before as well. And so tons of different inspiration on how to use your sketches. So make sure you check them out, and I hope that you enjoy the series. We've been doing Stretch the Sketch for more than 3 years now, so if you're interested in looking at more of Stretch the Sketch layouts, I do have a playlist on my channel for that, and quite often I do double pages if that's of interest to you. I know a lot of people are looking for double page inspiration, so I thought I'd mention that and throw that out there. So then I pulled out these dies of foliage, and I pulled out some more papers that have that green and cream background. I wanted something that was either lighter or darker than what I've already got going on so that it shows more dimension and things don't get lost in the background. But I'm going to go ahead and cut a bunch of those, and I don't show you on camera all of the cutting because that would be there for a little while. But there they are. I have tons of different papers that I've used in different shades of green. So I'm going to go ahead and layer those up into my 3 embellishment clusters, and I'm going to just create that dimensional look of foliage. I don't glue all the way down, like all the way to the edge of each piece of foliage. And in this case, I did not actually put any foam tape under them. I just kind of let them be free, if that's a thing. So I just figured that they would retain some of their movement and dimension in the album if the tips were not all the way like glued down. Typically, if they're smaller pieces, I might actually put some foam tape under it so they don't get squashed all the way. But because these are so like they're kind of long, I didn't want to like have foam tape under the furthest ones and then not underneath the other pieces, so it would look kind of lumpy. And so I glued down quite a bit of it, but not all the way out to the end, just so that it kind of keeps that loose look. Hopefully that is explained so that it's understandable. I did end up using my ink on inked edges on the all of these pieces, just because it added a little bit more dimensions, almost kind of like shadows, but they're not shadows, obviously, just giving it a little bit of more depth. And I apologize, I am like all over the place with my voiceover here. I am just kind of late in doing this, and I've voiced quite a few videos recently, and so I am a little bit losing my voice. So my apologies for that, and hopefully you can hear this okay. I'm not actually voicing it at home with my regular setup, so hopefully the sound quality is still okay. If you're having trouble hearing it, I really apologize. I'm going to try and make sure that the sound is turned up enough so that you can hear it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get those tucked under. I like the way that this is coming together. I have popped up some elements onto some foam tape, like that little circle in front of the word villa, and then up at the top there, the top right hand corner, there is a square piece coming up. It looks like a stamp, like a postage stamp edged piece, and I do have some foam under the top of that just so that it gives a little bit more dimension. I am going to be adding some enamel dots as well, just to continue adding more texture and more dimension. I am popping in these tickets, but I'm only gluing down the edge that is tucked under so that the bulk of the floral pieces or the foliage pieces kind of give it a little bit extra lift, and I like how that's looking. I'm using these green enamel dots from Gina Marie Designs. They are $2.25 a pack on her website, and they obviously you see that I'm adding some liquid glue. They don't stick great once they are pulled off of the actual backing sheet, but for the price and for how many you get, I don't mind adding a little bit of extra glue. So I would recommend them for that if you're looking for inexpensive enamel dots. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a visual triangle in each one of my embellishment areas to frame those circles or the foliage in there. And I like the way that that's coming together. And then lastly, I had a few other loose little leaves that I'm going to tuck in to each one of these areas. Just different kind of foliage, like a single leaf, and I really like the way that that looks. Just kind of adds more to the entire look of the layout. And I didn't put anything that was really themey on here. I didn't think it really needed it. There's a lot of gardening pictures there. There's animal pictures. In fact, that ram that's in the upper right hand corner, his name is Gordon Ramsay, in case you were interested in knowing that. thought it was kind of funny. And anyway, we had a great time while we were there, and I just wanted to make sure that I captured the day. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. If you don't mind hitting the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.